Dog sledding for a vacation. Why not? It's a unique way to explore the Canadian wilderness.
Now, it's kind of like cross-country skiing, okay? So you're going to stand on the runners that are at the back of the sled, and you bend your knees when you're hitting bumps, okay? We also, on all of the sleds, there's a brake, okay? What you do is press down on the brake and hold it hard. When the dogs are running and you tell them to stop, they know the word stop, but you also got to hit the brake and stay on the brake. If you leave the sled for any reason and let it go, the dogs are going to run, okay? Because they understand stop, but they don't like stop. They like the word go.
Yukon, come here.
These dog sledding trips are offered in Temagami, a pristine region a few hours north of Toronto in the province of Ontario.
Temagami is a great wilderness area. It's been known for a number of years. The first white person, of course, that made Temagami famous was Grey Owl with his books and things like that, and living with the Indians on Bear Island in the Temagami area in the early part of the century. And of course, the Indians also used dog sleds, and Grey Owl used dog sleds in that time. Grey Owl actually had a mail route that we're close to his mail route that he ran to over to the Quebec side, to Miskameen, and back to Temagami carrying mail. So not only are we dog sledding, but we're going along some of the historic routes that were used by the natives and by Grey Owl in those days. The Temagami, of course, is noted for its famous old-growth forest and its large pine trees, white pine and red pine, and people get a chance to go through some of these old-growth forests on our trips. Hut, come on, let's go! I use hut for go, but most mushers use mush, and mush comes from the French-Canadian word marché, and the English people couldn't pronounce it properly, so they started saying mush. French Canadians were the ones that adapted the Indian toboggan and the Inuit idea of using dogs and introduced dog sledding into bush country. And they used to go between the fur trading posts in what was called dog teams trains. They'd get about 4 or 5 together so they could break trail.
It's a bit hairy when they go downhill and pick up speed, but it's not too bad.
After a day spent in the frozen wilderness, you'll be glad to arrive at base camp. With tent and prospector stove already set up, there's nothing to do except chop some wood, start the fire, cut a hole in the ice, carry the water, feed the dogs, eat supper, and reflect on the day's adventure.
A couple of weeks ago it was 40 below, and we had a couple from England that came over, and in the middle of the night it got so hot that the woman was out of her sleeping bag and wanted the stove turned down. So we actually turned the stove down. We've had no complaints of people freezing. It's actually the other way around. Good night. So who's for pancakes for breakfast here?
Maple syrup.
Pancakes with maple syrup.
They're good.
Are they?
Compliments to the chef.
Okay, great.
Time to get moving, but first there's a lesson on how to harness the dogs.
You want some dogs? Do you have nice dreams?
Pull it back so it's way behind the collar. Pull the collar up so the collar doesn't bother them. Then all you do is take one paw, and they help. See? He puts his paw up. Okay, come on, Snoop, the other side. There, and the harness is on.
I mean, when do you get a chance to do something like this? It's just yesterday when we were going along, I looked in front of me and I had dogs pulling my sled, and it's just a weird thing when you're used to seeing dogs walking around the city, and I have a dog at home, but they're actually working, and you're kind of takes you back to the way they used to do it.
2 weeks ago, I had a person who was in his 70s, retired, brought his 2 daughters who were in their 40s, and we went for 3 days, and he was in very, very good shape, and said that all his life he wanted to try this once.
For more information, visit our website on topoftheworld.net.